and welcome to today's Midday Show. I'm Jeff Everett. He's Mark Messina. Today's kind of a special day for us. It is the 2-year anniversary of NCPA Media, kind of taking over NorthcentralPa.com. So we're celebrating today. We're going to have some guests come in on the couch. Mark, Carrie, Jerry just gave rowdy speeches. The bullpen's fired up back there. I don't know what more I could possibly say to sell today's episode. Mark, how are you feeling today?
Well, I'm rowdy, apparently, I guess. No, it's a fun day for us. 2 years ago, essentially this week, we took over from, a business that had already existed and kind of taken it and ran with it from there. And to see what NorthcentralPA.com has become. And, obviously we've added videos, we've added things like this. But for the people who've been with us for a long time, we've grown in size. I don't want to say exponentially because that's not, but we're like 5 times bigger than we were. And the viewership is just, and the subscribers and the followers on Facebook. And it's been great. It's been a great run. And this is obviously where the news is going. We're in your pocket all the time. And we take it seriously and try to bring it to you as professionally and articulately as possible. And that's what, when you think of professional articulate, you think of the Midday Show.
That is correct.
So that's where we are right here. So
that is correct. So the first guest we're going to have on, we're going to have Jerry come on, and Mark will give a better introduction than I will. So I'm going to pass the mic over to Jerry. Mark, how about you give us a quick introduction for Jerry, and then we'll be able to talk about kind of where we're heading, how we've grown, maybe some of the numbers, and how excited we are to be where we are.
Well, Jerry's the kind of the wizard behind the curtain here, as he's the one. He came to me a couple years ago and said we're going to have an opportunity to acquire this entity at some point. And we did. And here we are. And Jerry's the first. He's on the couch as we are. Most of the people horizontal on the couch as we try to talk them through their life's problems. But so Jerry, this is I don't want to make this boring, and because we don't want to be boring, but kind of congratulations to you and to us and 2 years, and you have to be happy.
Yeah, it's I'm amazed really at the growth, and of course there's been circumstances that we never could have expected that have helped that out. But it's really neat to see how far we've come in the 2 years that we've been managing and running this, and really gone from a Facebook page to a full service news organization, and not just that, but a media company, doing the live streaming, doing the videos that we're doing, and covering all of the various areas that we do. It's really been neat to see we're a lot farther ahead than my 7 to 10 year plan initially said we would be. So really thankful for that.
What is one of the things that the world has seen that I don't know if anyone really appreciated how much live streaming would become part of our everyday life, because it's not edited, it's not fancy, it's not graphical. It's just, live stream, whether it's something like a car accident or a protest or a march or whatever. And we've done some, even like mayoral speeches, and just there have been all kinds of things that to the world you're like, well, this isn't all that exciting. But since we can bring it to you in real time, and because people have constant access to it, because it's always in their pocket, whether at work, whether at school, whether whatever, we've run some live streams, and the numbers have been ridiculous.
Yeah, and when you think about streaming, it's the ease that we can do it. It's how simply we can do a stream, and not just that, but how professionally you can do things. The other neat thing about this format and the day and age that we live in now is that a live stream isn't good just for the live, right? It lives on forever. So if you happen to miss the event and you wanted to catch, I want 5 minutes of the flavor of the protest, or I want 5 minutes of being able to hear a candidate speak, we've got it for you. It's there. It lives on the platform forever, and it extends its life. And we have run some programs for UPMC and their Age Well program. And that's one of the benefits of that. They used to do those programs all live. The doctors would come in, do their thing. If people were there to saw it, great. If they weren't, too bad. And that was the end of it. Now those programs live on, and they have what we like to call in the media business evergreen life to them, that they didn't have before. And it's been a big change.
Well, I mean, we see it here with the Midday Show. This may surprise you, Jared. There are people who like actually miss us live. Like, I would have thought the whole world would just stop and be like, Mark and Jeff are on, we need to watch. But there are people who watch us later, and you can see the numbers that just keep going up and up throughout the day.
Yeah, and your show, your group's growing, and I think that's one of the things that I really appreciate about what we do here is we try to be ahead of the curve, right, and be doing things that are going to be things that our viewers and our readers and our consumers are doing in their daily life, and we don't want to be behind what's going on in bigger markets. We want to be on the cutting edge of that stuff, and that's what we try hard to do every day.
Jeff, you got anything profound to add? Can we hear you? We can't hear you. Or you're like,
I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
I think it would be exciting just kind of what's been your most favorite part about doing this? Because I remember one of the first questions I ever asked you was like, why do you feel like this is going to work? I don't know if you remember that day. I can't even tell you. What's kind of been the most fun? What's the things that have kind of like surprised you? Just maybe some things that you don't always get to talk about, but what have you enjoyed the most about this process?
Oh, I think that the thing that's been most surprising is kind of the speed at which stuff happens, right? And I had always heard the phrase, the speed of news, right? And I never really appreciated that. But like we were talking about in the bullpen before we came over here, like our first week was Donald Trump's first rally in Williamsport. I mean, that's how we hit the ground running, right? And then things kind of calmed down until Little League came around in August, and we kind of got a chance to breathe. But I think just adjusting to the pace that is this organization has been truly been the funnest thing, because we are able to very quickly implement things and do things and try things and see what's working. And that's fun to me. A lot of organizations struggle with that. A lot of organizations struggle with innovation and getting innovation to market. And while maybe in our partners meetings and our staff meetings, it seems like we're moving slowly. The reality is we move pretty quickly for an organization, and that's the most exciting thing. I guess the second thing is surprising / not surprising is our growth. When you look at the numbers behind the scenes and you see how many people show up on to our news stories on Facebook every day, and how many people show up at the website every month. And one of the stats that I shared with the team out there was the fact that, in 2020, we had 200,000 people who visited our website 50 plus times during the year. And so far in 2021, we have over 100,000 people that have. And when you consider that our greater area just here in Lycoming County is only 110,000 people, we're reaching a lot of people, and we've grown that expansion. We cover the northern tier really well. We're working our way out west. We partner with Hobart to get some stuff from the southeast. So we're growing our audience. We're serving a larger area, and that overall growth is kind of surprising on a daily basis. I would not have thought we'd be where we are, from 35,000 Facebook followers to 62,000 Facebook followers in 2 years. I mean, it's the numbers are big, and the growth when you plot them, the charts are just crazy looking. We kind of look at it and wonder when it's gonna level off or take a step back, and it has. COVID news is down, and I think there's some news burnout that people are suffering now because of the last 15 months. But it's been a real blessing, and seeing that growth has been really cool.
Well, I think one of the other things too that's, as we just had a meeting and gave Morgan Snook an award, but we have like award-winning writers and journalists on our group, and as we discussed, because with newspapers, they can do it through circulation. With internet, because we're so big and wide and vast, so we were up against the biggest of the big, and we were up against the Philly Inquirer and Penn Live, and as you said, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and we have our writers that are winning awards up against them, and it totally legitimizes what they do, as opposed to, as you said, like it started out and people saw it as like a Facebook group, and an award-winning news organization now. And couple that with the fact of kind of the trust we have with the public, that stories that we get sent to us and people that contact us about things we should cover. And one of the ones I always go to is when Shopback was closing, like we got letters from people, like we were on that before anyone was on it, not because but because of the trust that we had developed in the relationship we've developed with the community, that the employees were reaching out to us and saying, hey, this is what's happening, and you should let people know. So those are a couple of things that have made me most proud of where we've gotten to.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think I'd like people to know and understand is, like, we treat this as a public trust. Like that's our thing. We want to tell. We want to tell people what's going on. We want to tell them the facts. We want to give you the information and allow you to process that information however it is you need to, come up with your own opinions. And we strive to do that on a daily basis. And we can't do it if the public doesn't trust us, and if the public isn't helping to feed us the stories and information. We don't catch everything. Much to our readers' chagrin in the Wham-Sport area, we don't catch every scanner report. It's just not possible. We don't have the time, and there's so much going on that we do miss stuff. And we rely on our readers and our users to help keep us informed. And it's great when they're coming to us first and they're feeding things to us first before anybody else.
And as you said, it's growing further and wider. Like
That's
we're
right.
getting these tips. It's not just we cover 12 counties and we are getting information from 12 counties.
Yeah. And you talk about breaking stories, the Saltzman story in Bradford County, we've had some, very successful reporting on that story. That hasn't existed anyplace else. And that's the kind of thing that we're going to continue to do and continue to reach out to other communities and do.
All right, well done, sir. Can done.
I get off the couch?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I don't know. You want to take a nap? It's a comfortable place. If you go horizontal, you might be out before you know it.
I should have sat down, that's for sure. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jerry.
You need that mic back, or are you good?
You can, yeah.
Oh, okay. Are we gonna go? We can go to the prize wheel. You want to send some others?
No, let's go to the prize wheel. Thank Weiss Markets.
All right. Thank you to Wise Markets, and as we talk about growth, and that's one of the places that we've come, and obviously the sponsors that we have, and just such great advertisers that we have, and one of those is Wise Markets, who sponsors us here every day on the Midday Show. So we'd like to thank Wise Markets. I don't think I've been there yet today, but I've been there a bunch, and so today on the prize wheel, we have a $25 gift card, $50 gift card, $100 gift card, all to Wise Markets. We also have Eat and Run Catering. We have the Moon and Raven, and we have the Break Room. We do. I suspect we have a winner. Did the computer spit one?
We're about to have the computer randomly select one, and you know where they randomly select one from?
Oh yeah, I always forget to mention that. You have to be entered.
Yes.
You have to go to Facebook and go to the Midday Show group, and then
Correct.
you just have to like it. And then once you like it, then we have a dog hopping up on the
We
couch.
have a dog
Our next
coming.
guest
This
is going to be a
pandemonium
dog
today.
So
Come on,
that's
sit
what you
down.
got to do. Get on the Midday Show group, or get on Facebook, hop on the Midday Show group, and like it, and then you are in. And
Yes.
you may just get your name spit out. And if you do, you'll get a T-shirt eventually. And we'll spin the prize wheel and see if you can get more.
Today's random winner from the Midday Show Facebook group is
Aaron James.
Harley Romaine. Today's Facebook group winner. Mark, first of all, I'd like to say Mark is 0 for this week so far on the wheel spin.
It's been a cold week.
Warm up those hands. Blow in the hands.
No, I'm not feeling it again today. I think I'm going 0 for the week. Nobody can hit in Major League Baseball, so why would I be able to hit the wheel? So here we go. Harley, I apologize up front. I spent my whole life apologizing to women, so what's one more time? Here we go. Here's the spin. Here we go. Nothing
again.
You are
You are struggle busting so far. Struggle.
I could tell. I could just tell. You know, like Aaron, I said this yesterday. It's like when you're standing on the tee box, you know this one's going in the woods. You're like, get me another ball ready.
That's like every time I step onto the tee box, I feel like lately. So.
Well, hold on one second. I'll give you guys the microphone. We can pass it off. We're going to have Aaron and Emma join us. Mark, go ahead. Let's give some introductions here.
All right. Well, Aaron and Emma was here like full time, and then she got too cool for us, and then she took a bigger job, and now she's here part time, and that's her dog. We only let her come back because we like the dog more than we like her. She used to do the
Rewind.
The rewind, yes. Emma was famous for the rewind, and Aaron's just famous for being famous. He is a local legend, and he is a writer for us too, who has vast real newspaper experience, and then came to us. So you guys are kind of like the young. What's interesting about you? We take Jerry off the couch here, who's kind of the old stallion who grew up. He remembers reading newspapers. You guys have heard about newspapers because you're of the young age. So what do you guys like being here? Like, explain to us your experience with North Central PA and why you're excited about it.
Well, when I interviewed, Mark told me this will be the coolest first job you ever have. And at the time I was like, no way, these guys are not cool at all. This is not going to be cool. And a couple months later, I started working here, and it definitely was the coolest first job I'll ever have.
Well, and she didn't even like it's the only first job she'll ever had, so it has to be
that's why
cool.
it was cool.
But so, Aaron, you were in the newspaper industry. I guess your last stop was at the Lock Haven Express.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, give us your the transition from the official like fish wrap that shows up on the front porch to online digital. Tell us what you think.
It's been a completely different pace at times, but it's crazy because working here, you don't ever feel like you're really working. You know what I mean? Down at the office, we have such a fun team here. I mean, we have to deal with Mark most of the time. Like, you could be in the most serious article of your entire life, and he's sitting there cracking jokes in your ear, but you don't feel like you're ever at work. But the pace is a little different. But I mean, it's 2021. It's a new day and age, and digital is what it is.
And it's bring your dog to work is what it is.
Every day.
Like, oh, here you see the dog before you see Emma. So how is it like for you as you guys are young? Like, where does what that's like? It was a long time ago, but like my generation, we all read the newspaper. And where does your generation get news, and what do they think when you tell them like you're with North Central PA?
Honestly, for me, before I even started here, like my go-to news source was Twitter. It was mostly in relation to like sports, you know what I mean? As soon as a play happened or there was a highlight, Twitter had everything instantly. There's just such an ease of access now that, so many people are able to take advantage of.
Yeah, I think Twitter definitely, but Facebook too, just, what your friends share, which I know is problematic in some ways,
sometimes.
but I think I have good friends and they share cool stuff. But that was, I don't get the newspaper. I don't read it. I don't know anyone my age who does. Do you get the newspaper?
No, I do not.
Yeah, no.
Mark, do you still get the newspaper?
Yes, I do.
Mark still gets the newspaper. Jeff probably does for his cats, for the litter box.
For the litter boxes. Did you guys hear the proposal argument yesterday?
No.
Can we touch on this for just 2 minutes?
Uh-oh.
Did you know that there?
Is this the one that?
I don't know if you are not. I'll pass it back to you.
Is this the one that you couldn't see the light on, according to Mark?
Probably no. That's a different one. There are rules to proposing. Yes or no?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Yes.
No. Wow. See, difference
absolutely.
already.
No.
Okay. There are rules to proposing. One, asking for approval, like asking for
That's
permission.
a patriarchal construct.
That I don't.
It is outdated.
I don't
That I
disagree.
don't
That is
disagree
not
with.
a rule.
I don't disagree, but
I would be
also you still have
offended.
to do it depending on the situation.
I would be disgusted if a man felt he had to ask my father for permission.
It's just one
to
of those
marry
things.
me.
It just makes it easier.
No.
Don't you? Okay. So this is great. The second one is, and I didn't know you're here. So this is the second one. I don't know if you guys have heard about this one. You are, as the male, or you're supposed to ask the other's best friend to help you because, like, to get their nails done, to make sure they're willing to show up at the right time, like things like that. If it's
That's
a
if you're not a good
surprise.
planner.
Okay, so if you need the
I didn't
help,
even know that was a rule, honestly.
because like for pictures and stuff, like
Yeah.
nails and all that stuff. So the idea is like if you're going to propose on Sunday, you're supposed to let the best friend know so she can be on like Wednesday night, like, hey, I got this free thing for nails. Let's go tomorrow. And then that way, right? For pictures.
I had never heard that. Honestly, I think
Emma, no, nothing?
I mean, like, okay, but this is very like this is a male proposing to a woman. What if it's like
A woman proposing to a male?
Yeah, or what if
Well,
it's like
here, Mark gave a very good example of.
proposing to a dude? Do you still need your nails done?
In typical Mark fashion, he used Halle Berry in his analogy for proposing because that everyone can relate to being proposed to by Halle Berry.
I mean, I would love that.
Aaron will appreciate this one. And Aaron, you may have heard this story because you know Halle Berry was married to David Justice for a little while.
Yes.
Supposedly, Halle proposed to David while they were not dressed.
I would be mortified if I got proposed to.
So here was just my thought. Like when you're getting proposed to, do you care what your nails look like? Like, aren't we? Amen. That's amen.
That is
She is an anomaly.
That is the last thing I'm thinking about.
She is a little bit of an anomaly. A little bit.
I am a confident woman. I don't think that's an anomaly.
But also, you if you're a woman, do you really care after the fact? Like, oh my God, my nails are a mess, but I just got proposed to. It's the best day of my life. I don't think that's a real thing that they would really be upset.
And you can always take the photos again later.
But I think it's just the idea of like pictures in the moment. I don't know. It was listen. I've never proposed. I don't know. These are just the things that I've been.
It is terrifying.
So
wait.
Out.
You
I
think
completely blacked out.
you think proposing is terrifying? Wait till you get married.
I am, and it's not as terrifying as having to ask that question. That is the scary part.
Now, see,
questions for us.
Yeah, what questions you guys have?
Yep. She's like running through like which ones you want to drop off.
No, this is the one. She's like, which ones are they smart enough to answer? That's the question. Because Emma's the smartest person in the room. I'm not sure if we've made that clear yet. But well, we just want to thank you guys for your time and your dedication here to North Central PA. Emma's kind of the one, like this generation. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but I've said this before. Especially my generation. Jeff's closer to yours than he is to mine. But my generation is the first generation that was never smarter than anyone. Because like growing up, we were always, our parents knew more than we did because that's the way life goes. But now with technology, and technology has advanced so much that our kids are smarter than we are because the world is so technological and they have to explain it to us. So like for the people, I'm in my 40s, for the people in our age group, we were dumber than our parents and now we're dumber than our kids. So we've kind of always found ourselves in this netherworld. And like when we came here and Emma showed up, brought us so much information about just Twitter and Instagram and her ability to find stuff online. Because that's where the world's going and that's where the world is.
I think our generations have that good mixture though, where even though we grew up through the technological age, but you still have people around that can help you adapt to the technological age.
Like our kids.
Speaking of young people in the next generation, I feel like we should talk to someone who literally grew up during the technology generation.
Well, I don't even know this kid. He's only been here like 2 days. He doesn't like me. He doesn't talk to me.
Intern.
The
intern's coming on. Can they hear me? I don't even know if they can hear me.
I can hear you.
We're in the same room.
You have to be. They have to be.
You can hear me.
Well, it has to be going somewhere. I can hear you.
Welcome.
Wow.
Yeah, this is trippy, right?
Yeah, no, it's weird.
This poor kid, he's been here 20 minutes and he's already online.
24. All right. So first of all, go ahead and hold the mic up. Just kind of, you don't have to hold it right up to your face. Yeah, just put it right up there somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they can hear me or not.
I think so. You want me to repeat?
No, go ahead.
Well, this is our intern. I don't even. What's his name? Dan, Dave, George, Bob.
You and I have already agreed. We're gonna call him a different name.
That's what we said. We're gonna call him a different.
He's gonna be a different name. We don't know yet. One day you'll be Craig. The next day you'll be Alan.
So what the hell are you doing here? No, but you are. What is your degree? You're at RIT.
Yeah.
Which means you're not dumb because they don't let dumb people into RIT. That's what I know about RIT.
I appreciate
and you're a computer graphics design. What is your degree?
No, I'm photojournalism.
Photojournalism?
Yeah.
You mean like with a real camera?
Yeah, no. A lot of
photos move now. They have moving photos now.
Like, you mean video?
Yeah.
So what is a photojournalist?
What does a photojournalist do?
Well, they take one of those photos and the moving photos and
still frames.
One single still frame.
I'm picturing Life magazine. It's like we've gone back in time.
All right. That makes sense. All right.
No, I get it.
Matt, what was your favorite part about college?
Well, you're still in college, right?
I'm still in college. I'm trying to live vicariously through him.
So, yeah, what are you, sophomore? How? You're a sophomore?
I'm a rising junior now. I just finished my
You just
sophomore
finished your sophomore year.
Rising.
He's well, that's the term. It's in the summer between he finished his sophomore year. He's going to be a junior.
Gotcha. Oh, they call it a rising.
When you're in that netherworld in between semesters. Yes. You never heard that before?
No. Did you see Penn State's getting rid of?
I saw that.
Freshman side. Did you see that?
They don't have freshmen and sophomores anymore.
They're not going to call people freshmen, sophomores, juniors, or seniors. It's too masculine.
I don't know. I didn't see why, but I saw they were going to do it.
It's too male centric. It doesn't relate. What do you think about that, Craig?
Yeah, well, if I have to be honest, I actually at RIT we don't call ourselves like freshmen or sophomores or juniors either. I'd be like a rising third year or like a second year.
So you guys are ahead of the curve. You've already handled this.
Heck yeah, man. No, RIT is like progressive as you can get.
Wow.
Whether that's a good thing, that's up to you. But you know,
No, I didn't realize that. I thought the majority of schools were still freshman, sophomore, junior, senior.
I thought that too.
I thought Penn State was like cutting edge, like they were like jumping the gun on this.
yeah, I mean maybe compared to most of the schools in the U.S., but
Interesting.
at RITs we're ahead of the game all the time.
Do you have any more questions for Alan? Before he goes?
It took a while because the first time you did say I didn't know what you were doing, and I was like, "That's not his name." And then then I caught on to the joke. So yes, it is. So welcome. So this is part of what we do, like graphics and the photos and our Instagram growth and the things, and hopefully you don't run out of here kicking and screaming, but it's a good time. I think you'll have a good time. Jeff's annoying, but you'll get used to it. I have.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I think the real person I have to watch out is you. But
No, that's not true.
He already knows.
And every time, like, if he calls you by a name you don't like, if you just slap him hey, you'll be fine. He won't do anything about it. He's not very tough.
all right. Well, I mean, technically I'm unpaid, so I think I don't really have the power here, but I'll make it work.
But you don't. If you're unpaid, then there's nothing to lose,
That's true.
right? Like your risk. If you go over and punch him in the head, like what's your risk to reward is like there's no risk.
It is true. Do you want to go to the break room with us? I feel like he should go to the break room with us.
We should. You know what the break room is?
I
They
have
go
no
in. It's
idea.
like a thing. You just go in and smash stuff. It's like a stress reliever, basically. It's a business wise stress reliever, and we're gonna go over and we're gonna film one over there, and it'll be fun.
They're one of our sponsors for the show.
Okay.
So I think this is great. Here's part of it. This is the initiation. He's gonna be in the room with us. It's good that we're breaking him in today.
Absolutely.
I'm on the couch.
He's on the couch. He's getting comfortable, and I think this is like. I'll just say this, Perry. I would be excited if
Perry? You just went.
my initiation.
Perry is the next name you came up with?
Look, how long are you here for?
Like till July 26th.
Listen, we're gonna have to use some off the.
That's
chart.
true. That is true.
We're not gonna be able to just stick with the Jimmies and Joes.
And his desk is right over there. So he got stuck with us because nobody else wanted to be in the room with us. So they kept filling till all the room, and then this was the last desk left.
He got comfortable though. See how relaxed they took. His shoulders slumped down. He put his arm up. Like he got comfortable.
Yeah,
This
I
is
mean,
good.
you guys make it easy. You guys are a good workplace environment for sure. I'd recommend North Central.
There we go.
There we go. All right. Well, we really, really appreciate it, John.
I'm Jewish, so there's a whole slew of crazy names that you can add on there.
All right.
So,
I can work with that.
Hey, I've been to a bris.
Wow. So
Seriously, that's how worldly I am.
Nice.
Jeff hasn't. He's from Blossburg.
I have.
You may actually be the first Jewish person he's ever met.
Yeah, there's not a lot of Jewish Polish people.
There's no, that is not.
So that's true. Well, Rob, thank
Well, over in Europe, they were all Jewish, weren't they? Wasn't Poland just all Jewish?
you. We're all something at some
maybe before like World War II, but for sure.
Yeah, that's probably a good point.
Mhm.
So anyway, all right.
All right, Carl, thanks for stopping by. And well, listen, sounds like we're going to see him Monday.
He's got a list.
Well,
He's got it on his phone.
Tuesday. We're going to see him Tuesday.
Yeah, what is your schedule? Do you have a schedule?
Yeah, I work like 3 days a week, generally.
Okay.
So yeah, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays.
Mark and I did too before we started doing this
Yeah.
show.
Hey, anybody here that gives you any problems, you let us know. We'll take care of it for you.
Yeah.
We will.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
You let us know. We'll take
Yeah,
care
I'll
of it.
let you know when you. No, we're not.
No, I got that. I got that joke. I just ignored it.
Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That was not easy. You handled it well.
Yeah.
All right. This was good. Rob, I'm going to need the microphone, though.
Oh, gotcha.
Thank you, boss. Appreciate it. All right. That was good. We got to meet some people.
I hope everyone could hear you because I could. That would have been weird if you couldn't.
I think they did. Maybe they would have said something if we couldn't, but.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if anyone watched this show today. I don't know if anyone thought it was any good, but we had some fun, and our whole staff was here, which is never in a news organization. People are on the road and people are out and about, and it's just we have different schedules, and because it's just not a 9-to-5 business. So we have people that are working weekends and nights and things like that, and because of the anniversary, we had everybody here, and we had a good time. We thought we would just do this.
Yeah. Hey, you don't have to hold the mic like that.
Oh, you want me to clip it again?
Well, you don't have to clip it. I'm just saying, you don't need to hold it right to your face. It's not, it's not 19. You don't have to be like Gumbel, like swallowing the mic as you talk. That's all. Here we go. Let's go. This is great. This is the best part about doing a small show on the internet. LOL, Jeffrey, you are part Jewish Polish. Could that be true?
I thought, historically, I thought it was the Polish Jews. I thought that the whole country was essentially Jewish.
I feel like I could have saved a lot of money on college if I would have known that.
Could you have?
I don't know. Isn't that a thing?
Sometimes I'm surprised you got through college.
I will say this. This is the other crazy part for me. I got better as college went along.
Well, you just seem, from dealings with you, the things that you're really smart about are not your typical book academic. You seem very good at teaching yourself, and you seem like if you are interested in it, you are inquisitive and you're going to figure it out. So I could see that if you had subjects that you didn't really care about, that you didn't really care.
Yes. So these were my two biggest problems with college. The one was walking to class. I know that sounds insane, but yes. it does. Having to walk to class just bothered me. The second thing that killed me with college, and I've always said this, I'm somebody that is I just never understood deadlines ever. Wouldn't you rather me turn in something that is great and have me turn it in 2 days late than turn something into you that's 60%, but I gave it to you on the deadline? No,
because life has deadlines. That'd be like Michael Jordan saying, I'm going to play great. I'm just going to show up at the arena, whatever they want. Well, if they tip off at 7:30 and you're not there at 7:30, then it doesn't matter how great you play. But that's different because the game, there's an audience and there's TV and there's things dependent on it. Your paper is not dependent on anything. I guess, but
if I have more time,
it depends on the person that has to correct it and has to get grades in and has to.
If I have more time on Wednesday to give you a more completed paper Thursday, that's better than me rushing through it late Monday night and giving it to you Tuesday morning.
But you probably procrastinated because it was probably assigned 2 weeks ago, and that's
by procrastination meaning did I have other things I wanted to do? Yes.
yes. Like play basketball.
Yes. So there's that. Here,
no, I will say this. What you are one, and I've talked to you this before, and Jerry, who our first guy here, the same way. What the best gift that you guys have is the ability to kind of figure out stuff that you don't know. Because you two are two of the best I've ever seen that especially technologically, that it's in there somewhere. You don't know how to do it, but you guys can kind of delve into it and figure out how to do it. And most people don't have what you guys have.
I feel very fortunate. My parents were awesome. We had one of the first computers coming up, everything else. They gave me the opportunity where if I wanted to know something, I could do it. I had the materials, I had the products, I had the technology where I was able, if I really wanted to do something or figure something out, I was able to learn or read about it or research it and all that stuff. So a lot of credit goes to them for kind of ingraining that in me and giving me that flexibility. Because I don't think every parent does that.
I would agree with that, especially because your parents were not of that ilk. They were not
No, when the first time my mom brought a computer home, I would have been maybe 8, 9, and the only two things you could do on it was Word document and the old shuffle puck, black and white. So, and to her credit, she brought it home and we were allowed on it and just different things that I can remember going constant. We would go to bookstores a lot, and if I wanted a book or something, I got it. There just a lot of little things that they were very they just promoted like diving into things that you were interested in.
Well, I mean, just like we all know those people who are whether it's a carpenter or a contractor guy, that if you need something built or fixed, they can do it. Or a mechanic that no matter if there's gears in it and an engine, and that if you get it to them, they can figure out how to fix it and make it run. And that, technologically, you and Jerry have that ability to kind of like, you don't know how to do it right now, but you'll figure it out. And it's a gift. It is a gift. So never take that for granted, because like I said, most of us don't have that.
Now, the crazy part, this will make you feel even worse or even older. Like I'm falling behind. Like I'll watch like younger teenagers and kids and stuff, and I'm just like, wow, like I'm starting to become behind the 8 ball on some of this stuff. It's insane. It's pretty crazy.
I believe that.
Do you want to let's do one more. Let's try to bring Brett in. So we can congratulate him, and maybe we can talk about Ohtani. Maybe we can talk about the playoffs. Maybe we can talk about high school sports a little bit.
All right, let me go find him.
Okay.
Is anyone still watching? Does anyone?
We've got a huge crowd. You should see the numbers. I always have to I'll tell this story. As you go and get Brett, I will tell the story. Mark is a numbers guy. So the hardest part with Mark is you almost have to convince him of the numbers, or almost like trick him about the numbers, because otherwise, no one's watching. No one cares. No one's doing it. So it's a constant battle of trying to trick Mark into understanding that it's okay if there's 100 people listening or if there's 10 people listening. We're going to have on with us now, and award winner. Is that fair? Award winning?
I think that's appropriate.
Award-winning Brett Crossley. I think it's appropriate too. He does one of the neater things that I've seen. He does a comic book column video for us as well. So obviously most of you know Brett covering high school sports, doing some of the beat stuff for us. But you do a really neat comic book column. This is where I want to start with you, because obviously doing this show every day, I think you do the comic book column about once a month.
Once a month.
Okay.
Yep.
How did you get into comic books? I'm assuming it was a childhood love, but that's not always the case.
My dad was a collector.
Okay.
So, that got me into it.
Were you allowed to like actually open them and like touch them, or was it like?
Well, he was smart. Like with us, he would buy multiple copies, so the kids would be able to play with some of them, and then he would be able to save and collect some of them. I think it was his excuse to buy more comics.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the neat thing for me is I did not grow up with comic books. But because of Marvel and because of the cinematic universe and what they're doing, I've been able to like jump into it in a point in my life where I feel like I never would have been able to the point where I've even considered like buying the comic books and like looking into it and digging into it. What is your advice to like the young kid or the young adult who kind of wants to jump into that world? Because for me, it's almost intimidating. Like I don't even know where to begin.
I think that's the right word. Is I think sometimes when you look at like the Amazing Spider-Man, who just passed issue 650, I think it can be a little intimidating starting to read that stuff. But I think Marvel's started a relaunch program that started 2 years ago, where most of the comics are only 20 issues deep. The stories are all starting over, and now's the time to get into it. I mean, there are so many comics that are specialized on every character. There's ones that are based on the movie line. There's ones that are based on the comic timeline. It's a great time to be
I
a
had
comic
someone
fan.
tell me just go into, so like I watched like the first 3 or 4 seasons of The Walking Dead. And I know that's not your typical classic standard, but someone told me like go into something that you are interested in right now. Because if you try to like delve too far back and it's not something you're specifically relating to, it becomes harder to kind of like really get into it.
Oh no, you know what got me into it is Alien and Predator comics.
That's great.
Not Marvel comics. It was Dark Horse. It was Alien and Predator comics. I liked the movies and I wanted to take a deeper dive. And the cool thing about it is you'll get to see. I mean, I've never read The Walking Dead, but a lot of the comics will take spins that the movies might not want to do. They'll maybe make there's an Alien one where it's almost like a comedic take on Aliens, where they have an android alien that takes care of people and helps people and smokes cigars and drinks alcohol and it's fun. You kind of that's the whole fun of being it. Is there's so many different stories and so many different arcs and things going on. kind of still all ties together, but it's a good time. Like I said, it's a fun time to be a comic book
Okay,
fan.
so
Wait.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say your award-winning writing was for sports, and we see you here with your hockey hat on after a big win last night. So, obviously it's been it was a rough year for you as you covered so many high school sporting events. What are your thoughts on the change of the world as we're I want to say with sports with no fans, which none of us ever saw. And so what was it like for you, who's been a guy who's been in the stadium every night for your whole adult life?
I can think of one time that was, I think, the complete picture of what COVID was like. And it was, I'm blanking on the guy's first name, Gump at Central Columbia, scored his 1,000th point during a home game, and nobody was there to celebrate it. They stopped the game. They gave him the ball, and the players all cheered for him, and he took a picture at center court by himself. And I think that was the moment where, to me, it all sunk in, especially at the high school level, that you got to see a kid celebrate a milestone of 1,000 points and no teammates, no fans cheering. And that's, I mean, as a basketball coach, that's a significant moment in a career.
Well, to build off of it and not to steal your airtime, after winning the state championship, we went to the football stadium and did that, whatever. But it was funny, like at 7:30 when it ended, like there's no gathering, there was no get together. So it is, I agree with you. Like for the bigger moments, milestone moments, that was when it hit me. I didn't notice it day to day. But in those milestone moments, it was very eerie, like kind of like, oh, wow, this is not what I thought it would feel like.
Yeah, well, you were at it. I mean, you obviously were at it when they did the district championship day at Williamsport. It was amazing. They let in a few, maybe 50 fans into that game. I felt like the Magic Dome was packed to the rafters. It was amazing to see people celebrating, even the small moments the teams had on the courts taking pictures. It just felt different. It felt so genuine and such a great moment because we didn't have that for so long. And it was sad seeing empty stadiums and everything. But
Mark and I have talked about this, and you might touch on it again, but I think what people like sports, but I think really for a lot of people, especially in like North Central Pennsylvania, like it is a community.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not saying there are other aspects of the community or aspects of the community that are more important. But like even a Friday night football game and what that means to, like, for some people, it's not about football. It's about walking around the track and seeing your, uncle from across town or running into your grandparents. And like, so there was like a lack of community in the last year that I think high school sports really used to fill that void. And we kind of missed it for a long time.
I lived in Baltimore for a while, obviously, when my brother was pitching there. One of the things you don't realize about areas like Central Pennsylvania until now is that the communities revolve around the high school. The theatrical aspects, the musical aspects, the athletic aspects. Every now and then you go to Penn State or you watch something on TV, but the biggest sporting events in your town are about the high school. And the best, if you're going to go see a theater production, it's either at the community theater or something, but it's at the high school. So once that did it, you're right, the sense of community was lost. And we don't appreciate how much the school system and the town kind of interweaves with each other from an entertainment aspect. Because you're right, there are lots of people that go to a high school sporting events just to see other people. And they don't care who's playing and who's winning and who's not.
100%.
I mean, even from a sports writing standpoint, to look around and see sports writers that are out of work, and I feel like I'm obviously speaking as a sports writer, but to miss an entire season in the spring or come back and know there's limited access at games and not be a part of that, it was devastating.
So hold on, Jeff, did Brett win an award because all the other ones were out of work and he was the only one?
I think that's probably what happened. Yeah, there we go.
You positioned yourself perfect.
Yeah, I know when to strike.
Timing is everything.
Exactly.
Timing is half the
So I want to know this before. I know you talked about your favorite comic of all time. Like you have to pick one.
Favorite comic character or favorite comic?
Give me one of each.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good question. I guess my favorite comic would be the original Alien run, by Dark Horse that tied into the movie that explained what it would be like had the ship come back to Earth and aliens got on Earth. I know, exciting stuff. And then I'm old school. I think my favorite comic book character is Spider-Man, a photographer at the Daily Bugle, trying to make it, struggling to be a superhero and a photographer at a newspaper.
If he shoots a web on the door frame and swings out of here, we know what's going on.
All right, here's my last dumb question, because I like some of the Spider-Mans. I love the Iron Man movie. I thought the Iron Mans were great, and I love Deadpool, because if you don't like Deadpool, you're no friend of mine. But like, so for the people who like the classics, do they appreciate the movies, or do they like, because you get these we get baseball Puritans and we get jazz music Puritans, and the modern stuff they don't like.
I know people who before they see the new movies, there's like almost anxiety, almost like, oh, like I hope they didn't blow this.
There is, no, like when the new Predator movie came out, I was worried, but you know what? I feel like they can't do what a Spider-Man movie can't cover 650 issues of Spider-Man, but what they try and do in that little condensed time, it's cool. I don't dislike the movies. I think they're a lot of fun. I do think the Iron Man movies were one of the better comic book movies that they've done. And ones that I really disliked.
One of the Hulk movies was bad, wasn't it?
Yeah, I wasn't.
But that was before. That was before Marvel kind of like threw themselves into it, if I'm remembering correctly.
I get kind of tired with the movie trope that they always end up fighting a super version of themselves. Like Thor kind of did that. Iron Man kind of did that in the first one, but that's the stuff that.
Can I ask one more? Can I ask one more comic book question?
Yes.
Well, it's more about the movies. Why can't they get Justice League together? Why can't they? Why is that such a struggle for them to make? Why does it look so easy for Marvel, but then it looks so hard for the other? What's the word I'm looking for?
Well, a lot of them is licensing, because Marvel, I don't want to go to the deep dive, but Marvel in, I think it was the 90s, ran into bankruptcy problems and sold the rights to characters. That's why
Spider-Man had Sony.
Spider-Man,
for a long
Sony.
time.
Yeah, exactly. Spider-Man. And there's been a huge battle trying to get Spider-Man back into it. The new Venom movie that's coming out is it's not incorporated in the Marvel universe. So everything Spider-Man did, Venom's biggest rival, doesn't count for the Venom movie.
So what is the other comic company? What am I, if I'm thinking Batman
DC.
And Wonder Woman, DC. Why is it just does DC just not know how to make movies? Are they putting the wrong people in charge? Why does it just feel like Marvel's just been home run, and DC just can't? Because it's not a character issue.
No, DC. It's funny because DC, I think, tends to stick to the darker stories.
Okay.
And they try to make the R-rated movies, where Marvel has Deadpool and Logan, but I think they try to make the more friendly characters, and I think that's kind of
hard to dislike Ryan Reynolds.
Is he say Deadpool's not friendly? Deadpool's friendly as you get.
And I will say that DC actually has, I think, the best series that's ever been made and adapted from a comic book. If you watch the new Watchmen series on HBO, that's adapted from a comic book that was done in the 80s that's widely considered one of the best
one and done,
books
right?
ever.
That's one season and they're out.
9 episodes and they're done.
You told me to watch that.
Yeah.
I have not yet, but you're just just shut up and watch it.
You know what though?
There's probably viewers commenting right now telling you to go watch that shit.
I'm one of the people though. I actually liked the Watchmen movie. Years ago. I actually thought that was very well done.
That was a really good adaptation from the comic book. If you read the comic book, it's amazing how well they adapted that. Now, I will say, and I know the diehard comic book fans will appreciate it, but the ending was changed, and I don't want to give anything away, but they kind of made it a little more Hollywood friendly, because the original ending was a little more comic book friendly. Yeah. So
once a month.
Once a month.
Do you call it POW, or is the logo just POW?
We just call it the comic book column.
It's the comic book column.
Comic book column.
Once a month, check out the comic book column. Keep you posted, updated. And then hopefully as we move through the summer, I think next year high school sports is going to be revved up. I think it's going to be a full go.
Yeah, we're going to kick some butt on the Cutters and the Little League World Series. So we're going to have plenty of sports and good stuff coming up.
Awesome. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me.
I'm happy that Brett came back from Vegas. Brett was in Vegas.
Well, you're lucky.
My
Yeah.
experience with anyone from the East Coast, when they go to Vegas, I'm like, there's probably a 50-50 chance they never return.
There was. I lost. I had to come back. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Brett.
Yep.
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
guys. I appreciate it.
All right. And then, Brett, will you see if Phoebe will come back just real quick?
Do you want me to give her?
You can give that to Mark. So I guess people don't really need it to hear him, but.
Thank you, guys. Do they
So,
not? Can
thanks,
you hear
Brett.
me?
Yeah, they can hear you. That was great. I should get into don't I seem like somebody that would be into comic books?
Yes.
And I'm not. I honestly don't know if I've ever picked up a comic book.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like a lot, I've watched some comic book movies with like Thor, I think is the dumbest character of all. I don't, and Captain America, like he has a shield. Yay. Like I just don't get it.
Yeah.
But the whole one, like what was the one with Groot?
Oh, well, that one, Guardian of the Galaxy is great. Guardians of the Galaxy. Did you watch the whole first movie?
I liked Groot. I thought Groot was funny.
The first Guardians of the Galaxy is pretty great.
Is it?
You don't think so?
I watched one that my kids told me was fantastic, and I don't know.
The first one with the opening sequence where Chris Pratt's dancing around and he's got the mixtape in his ears and like
I remember. I saw that.
It's a charming superhero movie. Like it's hard to dislike it.
Is it?
Really?
See, for my generation, charming was when Gene Hackman was Lex Luthor, the greatest criminal mind of our time.
You mean Coach?
Miss Tessmacher.
Coach Hackman.
Coach Hackman. I mean, that is the...
you and I have talked about this. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I still don't understand. I was listening to a podcast and they were doing their top 5 movie twists, right?
Okay.
And I thought for sure the Bruce Willis, I See Dead People, I thought for sure
that's not one of them?
I thought it'd be number 1.
Oh, no.
And it was not.
Luke and his father.
Yes.
Yeah,
and that
without a doubt.
Still blows me away.
Without a doubt.
That's the number 1 twist of all time.
Yeah. It was
Did people just not see it coming?
No one saw it coming. No one saw it coming. Why would you see it coming?
I don't know. I have missed the boat on Star Wars. I don't get it. I should appreciate it more than what it is. I just don't get it.
You should appreciate it more.
Do you feel like it's a little overrated?
Well, of course, it's a little overrated.
Like if it was on the ground instead of in space.
Tiger Woods is a little overrated. Michael Jordan is a little overrated. Like Tiger didn't make birdie on every hole he ever played. And
we've talked about this too. I love space movies. You put people in space and I am in. Like Apollo 13, I'm in. Armageddon, I'm in. Interstellar, I'm in. Like some of my favorite movies.
You liked Interstellar?
Really liked Interstellar.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think of The Martian?
Loved The Martian. I think The Martian was a little better than Interstellar. I thought what Interstellar did a really good job of is like pacing. It felt like 5 or 6 different little kind of like mini movies within its.
I'd have to watch it again because I found it to be trying.
Okay.
What'd you think of Inception?
I liked Inception. Inception was one of those that like the third time I watched it, I was like, this is incredible.
Yes.
Now the first time I saw it in a movie, I enjoyed it, but you can't relax because the whole time
you got to work.
Yes, you are working as you're watching it.
Yes.
So it was a different movie theater going experience, but by the third viewing, it's hard to like. Inception's great.
And of course, as far as space movies go, Spaceballs is right up there.
Spaceballs is right. I still argue with people all the time. I understand it's not a masterpiece. But show me the person that can get off of the couch when Armageddon is on the TV, and I'll show you somebody who like is not a movie fan. So you don't like Armageddon?
I was just thinking
if I put Armageddon on the projector here right now, you're not. It's 1:31. You're not walking out of this room until 4:00. I'm telling you. I've never seen somebody. And I understand it's not the greatest, but you can't. It's very hard to walk away.
Armageddon, Will Smith and.
No, Armageddon, Independence Day.
Oh, that was Independence Day.
That's great. That's all. That has tragically become underrated now.
Which ones? Who's in Armageddon?
Armageddon's Bruce Willis, Ben Affleck, your boy.
Oh, okay.
The whole crew.
Wait. Why is he my boy?
Ben Affleck?
Yeah,
that's your boy.
Wait, he's my boy?
Listen, Ben and Matt are your boys.
I'm a fan. Don't get me wrong.
They are your boys.
They wrote my They wrote my favorite movie ever, but they're also Red Sox fans. So that is a.
If we made a list of like, if we said you can meet 10 actors or actresses, you're telling me
I would
Ben
pick
and
10
Matt,
actresses.
You're telling. If you're telling me we made a list of 10 actors, you're telling me that Matt and Ben would not make that list.
Yes, if I had to pick actors.
If you made a list of top 5, you would have Ben and Matt to me.
Men.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. They're your boys.
Yes.
Those are your boys.
So they're my boys.
How are they not your boys?
It's an interesting question. Who would be your top 10?
Oh, let's do this real quick too, because hopefully Phoebe will come in. A-list, B-list, C-list. Did you see this at all? They were arguing over what is an A-list.
We discussed
celebrity.
this a little bit.
A little bit, but we didn't really talk about like who you think an A-list celebrity.
Oh no, we didn't go into that. So you want us to insult people?
I don't want to insult people, but like, what is an A-list celebrity?
I think an A-list is somebody who is like, Tom Hanks, Dwayne Johnson.
Okay.
Like, no doubt about it.
What makes them A-list? The fact that it's just no doubt about it, but no doubt about what?
Like, I don't know. They just have, like, Jennifer Aniston is.
Okay.
David Schwimmer is not.
Okay, so now let me ask you this: is the Paul brothers, the YouTube guys, are they A-list celebrities?
To me, no, because I've never seen them. But in the world today, yes, they are.
Yeah. See, that's the challenge. I think A-list has changed.
Yep, I agree.
I think what it used to mean or represent has shifted, and that was kind of their argument. Like, you typically end up on one side of the fence or the other. Like, how could a YouTuber be an A-lister? But I think they are.
I told this to my kids not that long ago. And it's funny because I'm sure I said this before Trump became president. And, whether you like him or you don't like him, what Trump exemplified was this celebrity. We saw Arnold Schwarzenegger win a governorship. We saw Jesse the Body Ventura win a governorship. And I was telling my kids that for your generation, there is going to be a YouTuber who becomes big. And one of the ones that was Tosh.0.
Yes.
Was one of the first ones. Now, I don't know if Tosh.0 is smart, what his career aspirations are. But to a generation, Tosh.0 was a legend.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I think in my lifetime, one of these guys, whether it's a Paul brother, whether it's somebody that started out on YouTube, but we've seen it like we've talked about here. Billie Eilish started out on the internet, didn't start out in the traditional way. So yes,
I was just talking about the other day. I was talking with someone about stand-up comedy, and my first experience of stand-up comedy was a Robin Williams special on HBO. And it's funny because there's a whole generation now, like 10 years younger than me, that their introduction to comedy was Bo Burnham on YouTube. I don't know if you know Bo Burnham or not. But that is like what they classify as stand-up. And I was thinking to myself, like, what a difference then in what you think it takes to become a stand-up. Because growing up for me, in order to become a stand-up, like, you needed an HBO special. And before you got the HBO special, you had to get on Carson. And before you got on Carson, you had to, right? And this generation below me thinks like, well, to become a stand-up, you've got to have 10 good minutes on YouTube.
Or do you need to have a bunch of good TikToks? Yeah,
no, right. Exactly. So it is like, even just the process of what you think something is or what it takes to be something, how different an 18-year-old versus a 30-something-year-old versus a 50-something-year-old, like how different.
Don't ever point to me and say 50-something-year-old, at least for like 6 more months.
Okay. But you know what I'm saying?
No,
like
absolutely.
How different that must be.
Well, I remember once I heard state of the art is always a moving target. And that is true. Yeah. Like what is cutting edge ain't going to be cutting edge.
You don't know any Bo Burnham. We'll have to do a Bo Burnham deep dive one day.
Maybe.
I think you would.
I probably do. My kids have probably showed me stuff, and I just didn't recognize it.
They are. I don't know if you've seen this on Showtime. They're doing a Showtime series about the Celtics and Lakers in the 80s.
Okay.
And so the characters are the Busses, Magic Johnson, Kareem, all these people. Bo Burnham is playing Larry Bird.
Really?
Yes.
I got to tell you this. You'll get a kick out of this. I was at a karaoke bar last night, and
The Planet,
and one of the kids
the End Zone.
sang. I
You want me to
don't.
just keep guessing karaoke bars?
Well, I don't know. It was the Sons of Italy. Am I allowed to? They're not sponsors.
Yeah,
You know, I
fine.
don't want to. But anyway, what he did, round here.
Yeah.
But he plugged in things about LeBron James, and he couldn't see, and he must have practiced before he showed up. But it was very topical because it was 24 hours old.
Yeah.
But it was hysterical. Like I was
How did
in
you
tears.
not tell me about this until just now?
I don't know why. It was like the next, if he comes back and does it again, I was in tears.
He needs to be on that couch.
It was fantastic.
Do you think you'll see him again? Do you,
I can find. Yeah.
Yeah, he should probably come in and sit on that couch.
Talking about how he couldn't see and the lake. It was perfect.
That's pretty great. Get 10 seconds. Thank Weiss Markets one more time. So let me go get Phoebe.
All right. Thank you to Wise Markets for sponsoring the show. And thank you for anyone who's still listening anymore, even though I know no one's listening still anymore, even though Jeff keeps saying. And I know he told the story that I was just trying to cut the show off. He's like, no, we have a bunch of listeners. So that I think that was the day we got in the argument about Goodwill Hunting. So whenever Jeff's trying to throw me a lead to just keep talking. But I'm like, we should stop talking because I have stuff I need to do. But he just ran to try to get Phoebe. Phoebe is our camera editor person guru. And this is kind of the hint that I think Jeff didn't take. We sent someone to get her about 20 minutes ago and she never showed up. So I took that as her idea of saying, I don't want to do it. So that's why
she's doing it. She's on her way in. We're going to talk to Phoebe, who does a lot of our video stuff here. Give her a shout out and give her a chance to join the Midday Show.
Who doesn't want a chance to join the Midday
Show?
Well,
I had to barter with her to have her come in. Come sit down on the couch. Have a moment.
Does she need a mic?
I'm going to hook her up with a mic. You can go ahead and give her an introduction here as I set her up.
So this is Phoebe. She's our camera guru, and she's our editor guru. And so the vast majority of, we do the Midday Show, but the vast majority of everything else she does and puts up with us. And so I guess the question is, why do you put up with us?
Oh my gosh. I have no choice.
Good answer.
That is a good answer. Are we the most annoying people you've ever worked with?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's worth it.
Give us the rundown. Video.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I've never asked you this question.
Right.
Video. I don't want to say like why videos and like why would we do video?
Right.
What was it about? You know, everyone has passions and hobbies and things they get into.
Right.
What was it about video that kind of?
Because she couldn't draw.
Yeah, I definitely can't draw. No, well, I started out as a writer actually, and I loved writing stories and telling stories. But when I met Tom Woodruff Jr., who was a Hollywood special effects artist who came from Williamsport, our town, and he was describing why he loves movies. And I was already writing a screenplay at the time, but he was describing how he loves the collaborativeness about movies and filmmaking, and everybody works as a team, and then you're kind of all working towards one common goal, and you're all trying to tell the same story. And that just really spoke to me right from the start. And I was like, that's it. That's what I want to do with my life. So that's kind of why video. I like telling stories, and video is very dynamic. You can, there's a whole lot of stuff I've had to learn over a lot of years to get to where we are. And it's never boring, and not every day, like there's not a single day that's the same for me ever. And now that I know what that's like, I don't think I could ever go back to a normal job, just because I would just be bored at that point. But yeah.
And it is. We've done stories about Tom, but Tom, he's a Loyal Sock grad and a Lycoming grad.
Yeah.
So he is really a dyed-in-the-wool here, North Central Pennsylvania type guy. The thing that's funny about working with Phoebe is, like, as when she's kind of directing you, she's so nice, and it's always fun to watch her struggle to try to tell people that they're doing a lousy job and you need to do it differently, because she's trying to figure out a polite way, and she just can't be like, no, do it again. That sucked. Do it again. And she's trying to come up with words that don't insult people while she's saying, like, we need to film it again because you're not very good at this.
Oh my God.
So that's one of the fun parts of working with Phoebe.
Yes. You do an awesome job. Is there anything coming up that you're looking forward to? Projects in the works or something fun? You've been walking around. Can I kind of like tease this a little bit?
Sure, yeah.
Around, almost doing like an office style documentary.
Yeah, so we're starting to do some NCPA themed videos in the upcoming future. So that's going to be pretty cool. We get to show our audience like kind of who we are more instead of being more in the shadows. We're going to tell our story, but as a whole, as NCPA. So today we had our office birthday party. I'm sure you've heard all about it by now. But I was around filming it, and there was speeches and all this fun stuff that we recorded, and I'm sure you guys will see video of that soon. And yeah, we just wanted to show our audience like who we are, like physically show them like here's us, like all of the people behind the stories and all of the people behind the content. So it was our first time we've had everybody in the same room, I think. The last time we had all of these people was this time last year, and we had less people then, so it's kind of cool to see everybody in the same room. But
well, one of the things, like we see Phoebe here editing all the time, and she does, you know, some of the basic filming, like she's walking around with the handheld camera today. But she's been on film sets. She works with Major League Baseball when they come and does the Little League Classic. She's been out in Colorado working with professional sports, so she has worldly experience other than just in our little editing room here. So so we're lucky to have her, and she does a good job. But she's certainly, someday you'll be sitting in a movie theater, and in the credits rolling up, you're going to see Phoebe Freer, and whether it's director of photography, whether it's just director, whether it's you know, whatever it is, yeah, she will accomplish some things before she's done.
Thanks, Phoebe.
thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Yeah.
She did us a favor coming back here for 2 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
She's on a crunch, a time
I
crunch.
am, yes.
Oh, whatever.
Thank you, Phoebe.
Thank you.
I'm on a
Thanks for
crunch. You
having
don't
me.
care about that.
She's not on a time crunch.
I got things to do, man.
Thanks, Phoebe.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Good.
Yeah, I'll take that from you. All right. Now, Mark, now that we are down, there's no one watching at this point, right? No one's watching. Thank you to Mark.
So can I?
Yeah, go ahead. I was going to thank
profanity.
you, and
I was just going to say.
I was going to thank you, and maybe you could thank me. You don't have to thank me though, but I just figured now that no one's watching, we could be nice to each other. But that's all.
I'm nice. I told you before how like you're very your skill set. I said that.
I will say I sincerely thank you. Like I think I don't want to say my whole life. Like I'm not that old. It's been awesome to do something like this. I've joked with you. I think we're on episode 85 right now. We were talking today about, for the 100th episode, what to do. I will say, like, I don't know, and we joked about it when we got close to episode 50. I can count on one hand in my life how many things I've done this consistently, how many things I've stuck through to do 85 times. I have enjoyed it immensely, and as much as I would think it's because I get to be creative, and I get part of it is getting to do it with you and getting to joke with you and getting to do it with someone that just makes it enjoyable. So thank you for that, and I appreciate that.
Well, I am. It is fun, and I've told you this before. I don't know if I told you on the air, but like the graphics are great, and when people talk about, you know, I tell you the compliments we got, and I just got a couple the other day. I told you at the polls when I was voting, and like you make it look professional, and you do all this stuff, like all of it. And there's some it'll be like 10 minutes before the show, and you'll be like, what are our topics? And I'll be like, what? You're like, well, I can't. I have to put them in. Like it just doesn't show up. Right. So but all this stuff when we're like, hey, Wise is going to sponsor the show now, and you're like, all right, I'll make it look good. And, you know, with every board we have Wise across the top of the screen. And yeah, you do a really good job. And it's like, that's what you should be. You should, as I said earlier, the gift that you have with that and the ability to figure out how to do it. Because this is a software that you'd never used before until we started using it. And you're just like, well, I'll just figure it out. And I was like, oh, okay. And it looks great. So, you do really well.
So we'll tease the 100th episode. We're going to do some fun stuff. I guess the correct term, like we're going to blow it out. Like we're going to go big.
I think we'll have some different kind of prizes. I think one should be win a date with Jeff. I think we could do that.
You're the single one.
A long romantic walk with Jeff. Candlelight dinner with Jeff. I'm just spitballing ideas. I think we can come up with some stuff.
For charity, 1 month, we should auction off a show or a date with Mark and Jeff.
Wouldn't that be cool?
We should auction.
Did I ever tell you this story? And I'll tell you that we'll close with this since no one's listening anymore. I'll just tell you this story. I might have told you this already. I used to work with a guy who back in the day was he was like the sports guy on a morning show on a Baltimore radio station, and they were doing a contest. It was win a date with the sports guy. He was like in his young 20s. So it would be like when we had what was his name? Perry. When we had Perry in here.
Yeah.
It was like win a date with Perry, and you'll get 2 tickets to the Orioles game. And there were women calling in, and I don't know how they won. They had to call in and give their pitch as to why they deserved this date or whatever. Yeah. And so a guy called, and they swear this was not planted. That a guy called up, he says, "Hey, that last lady that just called." Oh, because the lady called up and she said, "I don't really care about the Oriole game. I just want to go on a date with him." And then a guy called immediately following. He goes, "Hey, that last person that just called was my wife." And they said there was just like this dead silence. And then he goes, "If she wins, can I have the tickets if she doesn't want them?" So yeah,
that's pretty great.
There we go.
All right.
So win a date with Jeff and Mark. There we go.
Win a show or a date with Mark
and they need to be like twin sisters, like the Bellas from the WWE. How about that?
Your expectations sometimes.
What?
Just you have high expectations.
Guy can dream, right?
Not a negative, just high. Thank you to Weiss Markets. Honestly, like we talked about when we first started, having to get sponsors and having to, and we talk a lot too. It is not easy starting something like this from scratch. So thank you to NorthcentralPa.com to have a platform to help us build off of it. But also thank you to the initial sponsors, because they all have a certain dollar amount. It's tough times right now. Everyone's trying to decide what to do with their marketing money. So thank you to our sponsors for really taking a leap of faith with us and really diving into it and trusting the fact that we're going to continue to grow and we're going to make it worthwhile to them. So big shout out to Weiss Markets for being our first title sponsoring, and hopefully that relationship will continue, and hopefully we can give out more gift cards moving forward.
Yep, I agree.
I'm Jeff Everett. He's Mark Messina. Thank you for watching the Midday Show.
There's no one watching anymore. You don't have to thank them anymore.
I don't have to thank anybody?
There's nobody left.
Thank you for watching the Midday Show at NorthcentralPA.com.